Alright, this week we are going to add some hamburger buns for the dolls so they can continue working on getting those hamburgers made. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy these are to make. Alright, to make our hamburger buns, we are going to use Model Magic. You've seen me make bread products out of this before. A couple of things we need to make sure we have. We need wet wipes. And one of these circle gauges will be really helpful. It's not an absolute necessity, but it will be really handy. You'll see why in a minute. We'll need our off camera kind of over here. I have my chalk sticks, which I'll pull out when I need them. I have one of my hamburger patties for sizing, and I also have some sandpaper. Now this is only a 150 grit. I was really hoping I had like a 60 grit in a full sheet that was clean, but I don't. All my 60 grits are cut up and they're all full of clay and chalk and things, and I want a clean piece. So I have wiped my hands with the wet wipe. I'm going to keep it right here. Pulled off a little bit of clay. I'm going to start by making some balls of clay. I want some balls that are, where's my 1 inch? There's 1 inch, that are 1 inch in diameter. And I want some that are 3/4 of an inch in diameter. That's a little bit too big. By measuring the balls, it makes it a little easier to keep it consistent. So I'm going to do just 2 of these at a time right now, and then I will do the rest off camera. When I make smaller scales, like the dollhouse scale, I make a single bun and I cut it in half. For this scale, I find it's a little easier if I do the top and the bottom of the bun separately. So this is the 3/4 inch ball of clay, and I'm trying to keep it pretty round. In fact, if you want, you could use your circle gauge to kind of help you. And I want it just about the same size as that. And I'm doing this on the sandpaper. I'm going to leave it on the sandpaper. Now this is the 1 inch ball of clay. I'm going to spread it out to the same size, and hopefully it will stick to my sandpaper. I'm trying to keep it pretty round, although we all know we buy packages of buns and they aren't always all that round. They kind of get smushed before they get home. That's a little bigger than I need, but that's okay. So I am going to divide up my clay, and I'm going to get all of my clay that I'm going to make today to this stage. Then I'll come back and show you how to color them. Alright, so I have these all flattened out. You'll notice the top halves of the buns, which were the 1 inch balls of clay, I've left them thicker and slightly domed. I don't know if it shows up on camera. You'll see later when we're done. The smaller 3/4 inch balls I flattened out as flat as I could get them and tried to keep about the same diameter. Those are the bottom halves of our buns. Now we need to make them look baked. So as normal, we are going to use some chalk, and I have there's what I'm looking for. I have my yellow ochre chalk. I've got a little container today just because I don't want to get this all over everything. Now it is best to use a new piece of sandpaper for this project because you don't want to get the sides of the buns. Once I push these buns down onto the sandpaper, I try not to move them. I want them semi stuck to the sandpaper because I want that bottom surface not only to get some texture, but also to stay nice and clean and white. Let's make sure, yeah, that's a clean brush. So we are going to take some yellow chalk, and I will probably have to scrape some more. But I'm going to try not to set that on there and still have it where you guys can see it. This brush is slightly dirty, but I think it'll be okay. We're using more of the yellow ochre than we will the darker colors. So rather than make you sit through all of this, I want to get all of this color done before I add the next color. So I am going to turn the camera off. I'm going to continue to chalk the tops and down onto the sides with this yellow ochre color. When I have all of my pieces done, I'll come back and we'll move to the next color. Alright, so now I have all of these dusted with that color. So now I'm going to just leave what's left. I've had to re-scrape the yellow chalk a couple of times in the process of doing this. Now I'm going to add this reddish brown color. And if you find that you've got chunks that are too big, and I ran into that a couple of times, just kind of smush it with the handle of your brush. And this, by the way, if you haven't watched my videos before, this is an eyeshadow brush. I just buy them at the dollar store. I find they work better for me for applying the chalks than do a paintbrush. We're going to brush some of this. Concentrating probably more on the tops of the buns. We're building up that baked color. We want it to be white underneath. We want the layers of color because it makes it look a lot more realistic than putting just one color on the top or starting with a colored clay. And I'm going kind of in a swirly motion. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to color all of these. Then I'll come back and we'll add the finishing color, and then we'll be almost done. All right, so color number 2 is done. So now I'm going to take this brown, and because this is awfully dark, I'm going to add a little more yellow back to my container here. That will help lighten that up just a little bit. Wipe my fingers off so I don't get it all over everything. And I'm mixing it with the color that's left in the container. And then we just brush it around. And I'm leaving the sides just a little bit more pale. And because right against the sandpaper we're not getting that, so it gives a nice variation, nice gradual color from the sides to the top. So I am going to finish this. I'm going to let these set until tomorrow because this clay needs to sit and dry. It's an air dry clay. Unlike our polymer clay, Model Magic is an air dry clay. So this needs to sit probably at least 24 hours. And when this is set up, I'll come back and we'll look at the finished hamburger buns. Alright, so these have dried overnight, and now they have got a little bit of chalk over the edges of them, but I'm not sure if I can get that off or not on some of them. Let's pop these off. So the ones that I got chalk onto, I will just glue those together as sandwiches. Might be able to fix some of that with a wet wipe. I will see later. But there we go. Now we have hamburger buns to go with our meat patties and our cheese and our ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise that we made the last couple of weeks. So let's just put one of these together and see. Is that that's a decent match. We'll keep working on our burgers over the next couple of weeks, but I think the dolls are really going to enjoy these. I hope you enjoyed watching the project. Be sure and check the blog post. I'll have more photos there. Also be sure and check the Facebook page if you haven't, because I post pictures there of not only the projects for the videos, but also other projects I'm working on and other things. And I'd like to grow that page and get a few more people on there. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.